A new exhibit, Digging Deeper, an archaeological journey, is now open at the downtown Greeley History Museum, along with some other great new exhibits. And with us today, we have Nicole Familetti, museum's curator here at the Greeley History Museum. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, inside, this is an exhibit I'm very excited about. When I was a kid, archaeology was my thing. I loved the digging in the dirt aspect and looking in the past. But what are some of the exhibits you have at the History Museum right now?
So we always have our Utopia adaptation on the plains, so there people can learn about the history of the area, some of our notable people including Rattlesnake Kate, Nathan Meeker, all of your favorites. There's some great things there, but we have a lot of other changing exhibits as well. This exhibit, Digging Deeper, that you mentioned, Well Dressed and Weld, we have up for a couple years with changing themes, fashion history in the area from 1870 to 1970. And then we also have our Curators Corner space, so different members of the staff put together a little display of things from our collection that might not normally make it into a larger exhibit or you get to see, so you can still see some of the fantastic things we have here.
Excellent. So things are always changing here at the Greeley History Museum, and you can get more details about it at greeleymuseums.com. But since we're in this room with this giant mural behind us of a mammoth, let's go ahead and talk about Digging Deeper. What is this exhibit all about?
So Digging Deeper, an archaeological discovery, really is just that. It's for visitors to learn about archaeology and sort of be an archaeologist for the day. As you move through the exhibit, you'll learn about what it means to be an archaeologist, what kind of tools you would use, what you do. Then you learn about the Dent site, which was here in Weld County, a significant archaeological site. So that's sort of your dig site. And then you get to put your findings together and learn about some of what things that they got there.
And speaking of that Dent archaeological site, why was that chosen as part of this exhibit? Why does that have a good tie-in?
So it was a really great way, one, to talk about archaeology in this area in general, and a very significant site on its own. Excavations were done there in 1932 and 1933 that we mainly focus on. And they discovered mammoth bones in relation to Clovis points. They weren't called Clovis points at that time. They were mistakenly identified actually as Folsom points, so an later culture. So what's really significant about that site is the relation of the spear points to the mammoth bones. This might be the first site that actually proves that people hunted mammoths. It certainly gives a lot of credence to it, and on some of the bones we have on display here, you can actually see some of the butchery marks on the bones themselves, which is really fascinating. And then it also helped, it was the first discovery we know of Clovis points. A discovery was later made in Clovis, New Mexico, not too long after. They published their results first, and that's why the points are now called Clovis and not Dent.
Fair enough, fair enough. That's exciting stuff. And another thing is looking at all these different activities there, what kind of stuff can people expect if they're bringing their kids with them? Because, I mean, you guys do a great job of having all ages kind of things to do.
Yeah, so it's really great to bring your whole family. There's something for everyone. With your admission, you get a free field notes booklet. So it's a guide that you get to take with you and do all kinds of activities throughout the exhibit. And then there's also other activities as well as you go through and read the information. But you get to, experience some archaeology tools. You get to put some findings together. We have replicas of spear points and mammoth teeth for you to actually feel and experience, and lots of great videos, including one from the 1933 excavations that you'll get to see. So lots of hands-on stuff for everybody to enjoy.
Fantastic. I know we're all excited about that. It's Digging Deeper in Archaeological Discovery, and this one runs through August of this year?
Yes, till August 13th.
Okay, so now let's move on and talk about some of the other exhibits in the museum. What about some of the pottery we saw on the way in?
Yeah, so that's a great exhibit called Made for the Tourist Trade, and that's a collaboration with the University of Northern Colorado's Anthropology Department. So we were really excited to work with them to put this exhibit together. It opened in January. It will close in December of this year. So we have over 20 Southwest Native American pottery pieces on display in there. Very recently, the university received a collection back that had once belonged to them that had been on permanent loan elsewhere of over 200 to 300 pieces. They put some on display at the Missioner Library, which you can still go check out. And then we did this exhibit here to really talk about the history of the pieces themselves, because they are really pieces that were created when a lot of tourists were coming into the Southwest region of the United States. And so we're not looking at like ceremonial pieces or that type of thing, but things that were really made to sell to tourists. The history of those pieces, how they were collected, how they ended up at UNC, and how they came back. So you can learn about the museum that was once at UNC and really explore some of the artists in these pieces, because they're really fascinating to look at.
Fantastic. And also, can you just tell us a little bit about the firearms exhibit and what's new with what's Well Dressed and Weld?
Yes, so in our Curators Corner, as I mentioned, a different member of staff or sometimes community members put together a display of some things in our collection. Our museum's manager, actually Dan Perry, put together historic firearms from our collection, so there's some really cool pieces to see down there. And then Well Dressed and Weld changes every 4 to 5 months. Currently it's cold weather gear until May, and it'll change out to fur display.
Excellent, excellent. And while we're standing here, before we get moving on to one last thing, this mural behind us, can you tell us about this? This was a local artist?
Yes, Adriana Trujillo, who's been a volunteer and intern here with the museums. Obviously, I'm a big fan of her work. She designed this mural for us, sketched it out, painted it up there, and a number of volunteers and staff members all contributed a bunch of time to put this together. And we have a great stop motion video that you can see on our Facebook page as well, if you want to see a quick of this getting put up.
Fantastic. Well, speaking of that Facebook page, you can get the Greeley History Museum's information at their Facebook page or their website, greeleymuseums.com. What is admission? And you guys have new hours in March too, correct?
Correct. So starting March 1st, we will be open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 to 4, and Sunday, noon to 4.
Excellent. And admission on there, we have $5 for adults, $3 for children and seniors, and just $15 for a group of 5. So thank you so much for joining us today, Nicole.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to seeing this. It is Digging Deeper in Archaeological Discovery, just one of the new exhibits here at the Greeley History Museum. You can come check it out for yourself and experience the entire museum. Get all the details at greeleymuseums.com.